Hello, my name is Jill Nitch, and this is my case study, Internet Use Violations for Module 16 of EDL 850 School Law. What I know about the case, I know that the high school is very affluent. They have many students that are vying for valedictorian or salutatorian. I know that Mr. Smith has been the principal there for 9 years. Miss Robin Tate was hired to teach specialized science courses. The rigor of Miss Tate's classes and Miss Tate's delivery method have provided stress for many students and parents. And I also know that Miss Smith has been brought in, and Mr. Smith has discussed several ways to reduce stress and increase positive relationships with the students, which to this point she has done unsuccessfully. I also know that Miss Tate went away for a long weekend. Upon returning, she received an anonymous email with a link to a website bashing her and asking who wants to see Miss Tate disappear. She called the principal, who viewed the website and printed the emails. The principal then asked her if she knew of anyone who had a problem with her or might do this, and she believes that William Hall created the website because she has heard him make snide comments about her underneath his breath when she walked away, and he has also been known for helping out students with technology issues. Finally, Miss Tate and Mr. Smith agreed to visit the next morning at school. What I need to know, questions that I have, was there any follow-up to the suggestions that Mr. Smith gave to Miss Tate? Did he just give her the suggestions and then never make sure that she continually tried new ones? Was there ever a letter of reprimand written for not following Mr. Smith's instructions? Was there anything else that happened between William Hall and Miss Tate for her to be sure that it was him, or was there any other incident that had happened? Did William Hall have a history of being a troublemaker? And what else was written on the website? Was there anything that could have led to who created it? What the problem is, number one, is that Miss Tate has upset students and parents about her class, and she has not followed through on suggestions offered by Mr. Smith. There was a website created bashing Miss Tate and asking who wants to see her disappear. Number three, the school needs to figure out if this threat is credible. And four, they need to figure out who created the possible threat. Plan of action. First, I would turn the website over to the tech department to see if they can figure out where it originated from. Next, I would look through that website, through the comments, to see if there's a possible way to figure out if the threat was credible or just a prank. Was there other stuff that was said in there that could lead me to believe it was an actual threat or just a little prank? Second, I would bring in Miss Tate and discuss with her my plan of action, how I'm going to turn the website over to the tech department before I bring students in. Next, if the threat is credible, I'm going to make sure that I am following the district policy regarding cyber threats or bullying. Third, I would bring in students from Miss Tate's class to get information on who could have done this. I found that a lot of times if you just ask questions and listen to students, they'll tell you a lot of information. You're not accusing them, but you're just asking them what they might know. After I've brought in students from our class, I would bring in William Hall and discuss with him if he knows who might have done this. At that point, if I believe that William made this threat, I would bring in his parents and discuss the incident. Fourth, I would discuss with the students the implications of posting a threat online, the legal implications of it, followed by discussing with the students how to properly address a teacher and ask for help on assignments. If they're having trouble in Miss Tate's class, have they gone to her and asked for help, or do they just decide to make this website bashing her? Finally, if it was found that the threat was credible, I could involve the police because this could require legal action. My plan of action for Miss Tate. First, I would put Miss Tate on a plan of improvement. She's had numerous incidences where parents have been upset with her, and she's also not followed through on suggestions from the principal. In that plan of action, I would set up with her a mentor teacher. This mentor teacher could help develop strategies to improve student relationships. They could also help her evaluate her lessons to figure out whether they're rigorous or is she just applying a lot of work to the class. Next, I would schedule times for her to observe master or veteran teachers. She needs to observe them and watch what works for those teachers. Watch their interactions with the teachers and the relationships they build with the teachers. I would then make arrangements to make several walkthroughs in her class. I would make sure that I was observing the very beginning of her class. I would make sure that I was observing the middle of her class, and then I would make sure that I was observing the end. And one final walkthrough or observation could be observing the whole class. Finally, I would make sure that the suggestions for improving student relationships are put into effect. If she's not willing to make the changes, then she might not be what we want as far as teachers at the school. Category 3, resolving the issues based on promoting the success of all students. I think it's best for all students that I not jump to conclusions over who made the website. I also shouldn't jump to conclusions as to whether the threat is credible or a prank. I shouldn't automatically bring the police in if then we find out that it was just a prank. I would also bring in different students to get different perspectives. I just wouldn't take Miss Tate's perspective and William Hall's perspective. I would get different perspectives. I would also make sure that the stringent expectations of the class are being addressed. Like I previously stated, is she really providing rigor and relevance to her classes, or is she just piling on the work so that the students are busy? Is she also making tests so hard that there's no way the students can pass them? Or does she truly want the students to be successful? I should also make sure that Miss Tate feels comfortable with the way the situation is being handled. Again, she also needs to know that we support her. We're doing what we can to figure out who made this threat against her. Debriefing the problem. At first, I felt angry that someone would post a threat towards a teacher like that. I myself had a threat made against me. In that threat, it was found that it was just a prank and that the student was angry and they just did it out of anger. They really didn't mean to cause me harm. When I first read it, I agreed with Mr. Smith that thinking it was a prank. I value the importance of supporting the teacher and making her feel as though we are taking the matter serious. We aren't just brushing it underneath the rug. First problem I see that is left unresolved is knowing who made the website. We still don't know who made it. Second problem is Miss Tate's relationships with students. And the last problem is dealing with the person who made the threat. How I would apply knowledge that promotes the success of every student by acting with integrity. One, I feel like I acted with integrity by investigating the case and the facts, not just going off of hearsay. I also made sure that Miss Tate felt supported. And I acted with integrity by making sure that the teachers and staff felt supported. They should feel like they can come to me whenever they have an issue and that I will look into the issue and resolve it as much as I can. How I would apply knowledge that promotes the success of every student by acting with fairness. I would act with fairness by investigating the facts before bringing in students and jumping to conclusions. I would also follow board policy as far as cyberbullying and threats, and that I would listen to both sides of the story when it came to Miss Tate's class. I would bring in Miss Tate and ask her about the issues that have been brought up, and I would also bring in students and ask them about issues. make sure I was listening to both sides and not just relying on what the teacher said or what the student and parents said. How I would apply knowledge that promotes the success of every student by acting in an ethical manner. I dealt with the party responsible for the threat. I didn't, again, just brush it underneath the rug. 2, I did not discuss the matter outside of school and did not reveal information pertaining to the case unless the parties needed the information. I wasn't going around town talking about it, or I wasn't talking about it in the hallway with my staff. And 3, I gave Miss Tate the emotional and professional support that she needed. If she needed more emotional support, I would see that she got it, as well as professional support. That is it, and I thank you for watching my presentation.